In today's world, security must be on the top of the list of priorities for all companies and individuals responsible for valuable and sensitive data. Companies and administrators must go to great lengths to protect this data and must keep a very close eye on things to be able to effectively protect them. Virtualization allows companies to reproduce many different virtual servers and desktops, but it also creates new problems in the ways of security. Security risks vary based on what the virtual system is used for. The ultimate goal for virtualization administrators is to secure and manage the entire virtual environment, not just the hypervisor or management appliance in isolation. Just like every other computerized system, virtual machine environments require basic software updates that may contain patches for security holes. Because of this, virtual machines have implemented rollbacks and restore points, where the administrator can restore the system to a previous state if the system suddenly crashes or becomes hacked. While doing this, previous patches of exploits cannot be restored or old accounts can get reopened. Rollbacks can also make virtual machines susceptible to new attacks because many security mechanisms rely on linear time, and revisiting a particular point in time violates these protocols. The only solution to this problem is having a policy and procedure that restores points, the application of patches, and searches for reopened accounts. Virtualization has also made whole operating systems mobile, which in turn brings more security risks. Companies allow their employees to carry flash drives or personal devices with an entire computing environment as a virtual machine. Stolen or lost flash drives could reveal the victim's entire desktop, company's proprietary application, saved passwords, and other sensitive company information. The only way to correct this issue is to encrypt the flash drives or other devices used by the employees. Keeping the device in a secure area with locked doors and limited access can also be used to make sure that only the person authenticated to use that device should be able to use it. The network connection over the virtual network cards also have security vulnerabilities because network-based security systems typically don't track communications between virtual machines on the same server. These systems generally examine traffic only between machines over physical network connections. There are not many network monitoring systems that monitor virtual machines and the single hardware systems, so this allows malicious software to easily move undetected between multiple virtual machines. The best solution to this problem is to place a firewall on each of the virtual machines that will detect malicious software as it travels through the virtual environment. To secure a virtual environment, it is important to add software firewall to each virtual machine on that hardware system. When a single hardware system contains multiple virtual machine environments, there is no way to monitor transactions between each virtual machine. Because of this, it is easy for malware to be spread throughout all virtual environments without getting detected. Firewalls placed on every virtual environment will allow for detection and prevention of unwanted malware. Physical security is a very important aspect when it comes to securing a virtual environment. Because virtual environments are not limited to a particular hardware system, it can be easily removed or copied. Flash drives with great capacity are able to store a whole virtual environment. The reason for the mobility of virtual environments is to make them easily accessible, but this also causes great security risks for that same reason. Because they are easily accessible, it is important to store these devices in a limited access area where only authenticated employees could gain access. All copies of the virtual environment must be protected from theft. If a copy was to fall into the wrong hands via flash drive, that flash drive should be encrypted or have a biometrics reader to gain access. Updating a virtual environment is also important. Updates must be checked and applied on a weekly basis to the operating system hosting the virtual machines. They must also be checked and applied on a weekly basis for the virtualization software. Updates must be checked and applied on a weekly basis for the virtual machines themselves. When an account has been disabled, it must be kept track of for at least 2 previous image resort points. If a rollback occurs, it must re-disable any previously disabled accounts. If a rollback occurs on a virtual machine to fix a corrupt image, all updates must be repatched to the most current updates.